pop in. My name is Valerie Lewis, and I just kind of wanted to have a conversation about live streaming, whether that's in the classroom or just in your personal experience. So, if I could ask you, do you have any experience with live streaming? And feel free, you can type your response in the chat or you can just use the audio. No pressures, no worries.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Okay, great. Yes, I have had a very little experience with streaming. I have a
Okay.
brother who works for NASA, like JPL
Oh, nice.
laboratories in California, and a couple years ago, he did a live stream with my second grade class. It was very, very fun. But back then, they didn't have a good bandwidth in our school, so he kept kind of breaking out. And now we just do Q&As, and then we did one little flip grid. But I want to get back to live streaming because obviously the technology is better now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll tell you a couple of things, and it's good that you have a family member that can kind of connect with your classroom. Do you remember what service or what program he might have streamed from when he did that with your class?
Oh, that was such a long time ago. It was very basic. It was I'm trying to recall. It was I can't remember. Honestly, it was something that's very common that social media was using at the time. Um,
Gotcha.
I just can't.
Gotcha.
I apologize. I can't remember.
Oh
But
no, no worries.
now with like this program, and it's just there's so many options now.
Absolutely. And so I know that with my high school class, we've kind of run into a lot of the same issues you did. One, bandwidth, just being able to connect and making sure the internet was reliable. But then another thing that I found was problematic was sites that we could use were blocked, even from a teacher's end. So we couldn't log into something like Skype unless you had admin right at that time, or even something as simple as like YouTube. Now that YouTube has a live component on it, you can kind of do it from that end. So what I did find was a workaround, and I don't know if you've ever heard of a site called PeerIn.
No, I have not. What's it called again?
It's called appear.in, and I typed it in the chat for
Oh,
you.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes, and it comes, there's an app you can get from your phone. It's free, and all you simply need to do is just um, create a room. You you know what? I've not used it maybe in the past couple of months, but it was to the point where you did not even need to create an account. And the people that were going to use it with you did not need to create an account either. So I found that to be very helpful because it eliminated a lot of frustration about, do I have the right login? And so it allowed us to connect. It has a chat, just kind of like how we're using Zoom right now. Very similar. There, we could share a screen. We were in a room, would host up to 10 people, worked very seamlessly, and we kind of got around from there. I would have my laptop set where my students were all positioned in a way where the person on the other end could just see my whole class in one view. And then that was it. And it was very simple, and then we could log off. If I wanted to record our chat, then I might add an extension or something like a screencastify and just record the conversation just so that we could have it as a playback, or if we want something that we had in conversation. But I found it to be very easy to use, and that's Appear In. But one thing that I am using nowadays more frequently is Periscope. Are you familiar with that?
Could you say it one more time? You blurred out for the voice went out for a minute.
Okay, Periscope.
Oh yes, yes,
Okay.
I have used that. There was opportunity to talk with Jane Goodall. And
Nice.
they used Periscope. That's the first time I'd heard of it. It was a couple years ago, and
Wow.
it was amazing. And we were just studying it like weeks before about her in our ELA series. So yes, I am familiar with Periscope.
Absolutely. So that's one that I would say is my go-to now. So Appear In was my first get around because everything was blocked and I was having those bandwidth issues, as you mentioned. But now Periscope is our go-to. In fact, I am part of the community, and I don't know if you've heard of the community called Past the Scope EDU. Um, we did a lot of live streaming at ISTE, the EdTech Knowledge Conference this past summer in Chicago. And Periscope is exactly what we use. And so all you need for Periscope is to have a Twitter account.
That's
Yep. If you've got a Twitter account, then you can easily create your Periscope account. And so what I'll do, I'll kind of show you um, those steps here. And so I don't know if this is really a good view. I downloaded the app to my phone. So it kind of looks like this eye with the red pupil. So it's blue and red.
mm-hmm.
And then so once I created the account, as you can see, it kind of shows you from the home screen
Mm-hmm.
everyone that's in there at this time. There's this little red button, and I'm not sure your phone if you're using iOS or if you're using an Android. I have an Android. So from the Android, the bottom right hand corner, there's this little red button, which is actually your broadcast button. And if you hit that button, your camera will automatically activate. And so it'll either be a front facing camera view or a rear facing. If you don't like the view that it's showing, if you just simply double tap on your screen, it'll turn the view around for you, facing the other direction. And all you need with Periscope is just to have a phone and internet connection. If you have those two things, if Wi-Fi is not going to be a challenge for you, you're really good to go with that. So you just really give your broadcast a name, something that identifiable when people see it on Twitter, they'll go, oh my. So if you're having a conversation, like you said, with your brother, NASA, you may want to put that in your title broadcast. And then once you do that, you'll notice a little Twitter icon. There's also a Facebook icon. Those two are highlighted in white. Then that means as soon as you hit start broadcast, it will show up on your Twitter feed live. So anyone who's following you on Twitter will automatically see it from Twitter live, what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
And the same for Facebook. So that way you've got people coming in. So if you're using, if you're doing it with students, then there's probably a feature that you want to disable. Maybe it's comments. Sometimes we get people that kind of troll in and they may make inappropriate comments or responses. And if you don't want your students subject to that, you can kind of disable the comment so people can only view, but they're not able to leave any responses that may be inappropriate or anything like that.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Right.
Thank
So
you.
you can definitely disable that. And then once you have it set the way you want, that red button that says go live,
Yes.
you just push that and you're streaming.
Gotcha. I checked it out online real quick. It's actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of different topics out there.
Oh yeah, I mean you will find every extreme. You will find every extreme. So it's almost like when you're on Periscope, it's kind of like knowing who to follow. It's like Twitter.
Right.
You kind of figure out who those educational people are, and then you realize do they have the Periscope account as well, and then you can follow them if they're doing live streams. Now, the one thing about Periscope as well is that when someone that you are following or want to follow goes live, you can set a notification in your settings
Oh,
that will
okay. I know that.
tell you when that person goes live.
Oh,
And you'll
that's
kind of see that icon. So that way you're not always searching, oh, I wonder if they're live right now, and kind of, wasting your time searching. You'll just be notified such and such is live right now. You can choose to join in and watch their live scope and then exit when you want.
understood. Thank
Yep,
you.
no problem. And I notice we have someone else who's joined us. Is that Lois?
Yes.
Hi, Lois. How are you? Uh-oh, I think you went mute on us, Lois.
Sorry.
No, no problem. So we were just talking about live streaming, and Christina was sharing with me how she's live streamed a while ago with her students, and just trying to get that connection with outside individuals. And so I was just introducing her. Well, she was already familiar with Periscope, had not used it a
Right.
whole lot. I was just telling her how it's my go-to for live streaming. Do you live
Right.
stream any or use any live stream
Um,
tool?
because I teach sixth grade, it's hard, but I do a lot of videoing at the time on Twitter.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
have an Instagram account where I allow them to reflect on what they're doing, and then I make sure it's appropriate, and then I would send it out. So, far as the live streaming been via sixth grade, I am a little hesitant
Yeah.
because of the trolls out there. The
Agree.
trolls out
Yeah.
there.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. And they are very real, and they, unfortunately some of them have no filter.
No.
But that's what I was also mentioning to Christina. If you disable the chat capabilities, the only
Right.
thing they can do is you. It's like watching TV. The
Mhm.
person on the television screen can't see you, so they're
Right.
watching, but they can't do anything else. And then usually when we do see someone, if we do have the chat enabled, and someone makes an inappropriate comment, a
Right.
Periscope immediately has it where you can touch their profile and you
Yeah.
can block
You can
them.
block. Right. I do Periscope.
Yeah,
I've done it with my family and my coworkers, my
nice,
team.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And
Uh,
so, some of the benefits, what I find with live streaming is, for example, I was sharing with Christina, there were about 14 of us as educators that went to see this past summer in Chicago.
mhm.
And what we did simultaneously was covered different sessions at ISTE. So I'll put in the hashtag
Okay.
um, here in the chat, past the scope EDU. What
Okay.
we were able to do was bring the people who could not be at ISTE in Chicago and attend everything that was happening at ISTE, from playground sessions to
Yeah.
keynote presenters. So what I find with live streaming is power of allowing people access to be able to learn. So while you're sitting in your
Right.
living room or from the comfort of your bedroom, you're learning. And so you'll see on
Like
that
right
hashtag,
now.
like right now, exactly, exactly. And so I find that the power of live stream, because there's one thing when you're looking at a Google Slides presentation, or you're reading an article, or you're watching a blog, but to actually be watching in real time someone giving their keynote. And for a tool like Periscope, where some people are very conscientious, if I had a question that I wanted answered, I could type my question, and that person who's scoping might be able to get the answer for me right then and there. So I find,
Right.
that streaming capability has been awesome to kind of ignite that
Right.
passion for learning. And so you
Yes.
mentioned using Hey, Katie. Oh, Katie's in our chat. You mentioned using it, Lois, with your family and friends,
Mm-hmm.
Periscope. Have you ever thought about maybe connecting classroom to classroom, maybe with another sixth grade class, live streaming or
I would,
working on a project?
yes, I've thought about that. I used to be on Edmodo, and my school district stopped the domain, but I was able to Skype with other teachers around the world with my students.
Exactly.
And so I looked at the Periscope platform as the same way, but it's so hard to find the other um, teachers doing the same thing that I'm doing because I don't
It-
know how to find them. I guess that's what I want
I
to say. I
I
don't know
re-
how to do the research to find them.
right.
I reached out via Twitter, and
Okay.
I was
I
able
love
to
to-
say that I am looking for a classroom. Like, I'm a second grade teacher, and I was able to say I'm looking for a classroom,
Okay.
second grade. We're in, this state. We'd like to hook up with someone in the East Coast or the West Coast or whatever, and it actually worked. And
Yeah.
it was amazing. And then you could sit there and say, and we would like to do some live streaming via a peer in or a Periscope,
Right.
and you get
I
a
didn't
lot
think
of
about
hits.
that.
You get a lot of hits.
Yes. Yes. And then just think about the things
Wonderful.
that you guys stream. Think about who may actually come across your broadcast. So it may be like Christina said, you reached out to a particular class and you guys had this appointment or date. Just think about what other educator that might actually or accidentally come across your stream and they're like, oh my gosh, that's
Right.
awesome. That's what we're working on, or I'd love to do what they're doing.
Right.
And
Right.
now what you thought was just, classroom to classroom actually attracts another
Mm-hmm.
classroom or someone else. And that's what I really love about live stream capability, because that impact goes beyond what you just thought you were going to be able to do.
Right. I want to talk about I think I want to go like Australia
Uh-huh.
so we can talk about the life organisms that's in
Okay.
that area, and we have to do a big 30-day unit on it, and so I would like to get questions from my kids and get with that teacher, and then they can come up with questions from my kids, and then we can share them and have them to talk over a course of 2 or 3 days. That's my ultimate goal.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what in the chat here for you, Lois, if you see Bronwyn Joyce, if you look her up on Twitter,
What's
so
her
it's
name?
right under my Bronwyn,
Baldwin. Okay. It's
Bronwyn,
under
and
your.
I'll type it in again in the chat feature. She is in Australia, and her
Okay.
class, she has fifth
Oh,
and
I
sixth
see it.
graders.
I see it.
She does
Okay,
a
my
lot of
needs to go.
streaming. Yes,
Okay,
she
thank
does a
you.
lot of streaming, and she would be more than elated. And her kids, I mean, they're so used to it. She can turn that camera
Thank you.
on and those kids go. So they are right there in Australia. So you've got a direct contact,
Right.
and they will download you on everything. And she's awesome. And she's always on Periscope with her students. So that's a connection. If I were you, that you want to do,
Right. Thank
connect with her now, and she will
What
certainly.
about Google Hangout?
Google Hangouts is
Okay.
good as well. Have any of you guys, Nancy or Christina, used Google Hangouts?
Yes, I have. It
Yeah.
works fine.
Okay.
Yes. And then if you're a Google Apps for Education school,
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Google Meet, Google Meet actually allows you to get more than just the 10 people in the room. And it's
Okay.
actually now the kind of go-to. Google Hangouts and Google Hangouts on Air, you can certainly record, which now runs through YouTube Live. But Google Meet
Right.
actually, works just the same, and it's easier to set up some ways as well.
receive my school Google Suite if it's in there. So the Google
Okay,
Me, because we don't have the Gmail portion, we don't have the Google Classroom portion because they
gotcha.
pay for other things for us to do. But I will check that out. Thank you.
No problem. So Nancy, I noticed in the comments you mentioned that you've not used
Hi,
Periscope. Where are you coming in from, Nancy?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Hi.
grade do you work with or teach, or do you support teachers?
I teach ninth grade global studies and special education,
Nice.
and I am part of the New York City Schools Tech group, and I'm actually starting the podcast for that group.
Wow.
Oh,
The
wow.
producer of the podcast. So, but my day job, my superhero job, is teaching history. But I am
Nice.
also be working on a doctorate in learning instruction and innovation from Walden University. So.
Okay. You got a lot on your plate, lady.
Yeah. Well, don't we all, right?
Exactly. So
Sorry
how
I'm
are you
late to
wanting
the
to
party.
use?
I've never used this Periscope before, but yeah. So
Yes.
like, woo, here we go. My art in the box, okay.
I know there's a lot. I mean, Periscope has been phenomenal. I know it has really. So one of the things that both Lois and Christine mentioned is kind of knowing who to follow on how to find those people. So a lot of people are using Periscope for a lot of things. So like nature studies and things like that. People kind of find their niche. So you'll find people that love to sculpt gardens and flowers and
Mhm.
butterflies, and that's their thing that they go to. And there are people that love to do a lot of walking tours. um
Hmm.
they like to, so you really have to find the category and then find the people in there that are going to be appropriate for you to be able to share with your students. Then again, as Christina mentioned, sometimes it's just reaching out to someone on Twitter and recognizing, do they have a Periscope as well, and do they stream? So it really depends on who you're connecting with.
Okay.
But I will tell you, at least through our past Scope EDU community, there are lots of educators there, and a lot of them are streaming different things, and you'll find the gamut from math teachers, special ed teachers, elementary, adult ESL teachers that may often just scope what's happening within their classrooms. And they're always looking for someone else to connect with, or they're just giving, here's a day in the life, and it becomes a PD kind of thing. Here's something I tried, and they're streaming it, and you're just kind of picking up and asking questions about it. Periscope's very easy. As I mentioned before, all you need is a phone and Wi-Fi connection. If you've got a Twitter account, and
Yes.
that's how you create your Periscope. So you won't be able to create Periscope or create a Periscope account unless you have a Twitter account. You
No
just
problem. Actually, I'm gonna put my Twitter out there for you.
yes,
Let's follow each other. Uh,
yes, and let's all do that. And even beyond this session, because I know this session's really only 30 minutes. Feel
mhm.
free. I could always get with any of you guys and just I can screenshot step 1, do this, step 2, do this, and share that with you guys so that you know how to follow. If you want to do a private practice Periscope,
Mhm.
we can create a private group, which means we can practice it and we'll be the only ones to see it. It
Mm.
doesn't go public and out there. So that way you can kind of test it out. And I could say, oh, yes, your camera quality looks very good, Nancy. I could hear you. Or, oh,
Okay.
no, we got to figure that out. So I'm not opposed to doing that at all.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
That is a great offer. Thank you.
No problem. But definitely with, I'm getting some feedback
Thank
here.
you.
Maybe I'll mute.
Hold on. Okay, let's see. Did that clear up? Okay, I think so. definitely with live streaming, it definitely opens up a whole new window. As we mentioned here, think about when you're connecting with a class, someone else is able to see that live stream. So just yesterday, we was a pre-service teacher that we connected with on the hashtag PassTheScope.edu. Her name is Madison, and I believe she's a history major, but she also has a love for music and the arts as well. And so she came across the community, and she was a brave soul, and she decided to jump in for the first time and just go live on Periscope. And our topic yesterday was EDU freedom. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, just from looking at this hashtag, EDU freedom, what would come to mind? What would be your interpretation of the word EDU freedom?
Escaping from the current trend, backward trends of education. So,
Excellent, excellent, Nancy. Christina, what would you say comes to mind when you see that hashtag EDU freedom?
She very eloquently stated what I was thinking, but not in such nice words.
That's okay. We'll take it the other way too.
So great, Dr. To be.
I think it's thinking out of the box, the original box.
Absolutely. And guess what? And that yesterday from sunup to sundown on Periscope, that's what educators were logging into Periscope doing on PassTheScope EDU. Just simply giving their own interpretation of EDU freedom. And think about how many of those broadcasts we watched, and somebody said something that we never even thought of with that hashtag. And so what this allowed was for each person to have a voice, be amplified, because we know technically in our buildings where we work, sometimes we're not given the opportunity to share our thoughts. Someone's always talking to us, talking at us, and we're on mute for most of the time. And we kind of have that that bottlehead syndrome where you're just kind of shut up and down, or we're rolling our eyes and like, okay, I need to get out of here. That's exactly what Periscope has allowed us to do. It's given us a voice. It's allowed us to amplify each other, what's going on. And there's no wrong and there's no right. And so once a month, every third Thursday of the month, we just get together to live stream. Because we know life happens. We realistically don't have the time to get on every single day and scope, live stream, find a class every day. So we just say one Thursday out of the month, we'll all come together. We'll have a hashtag theme, and everyone pops on. You can do 1 minute, a fifth, however, whatever's placed upon your heart to do, and share. And when you're done, you would pass the scope technically to the next person. If I started it off, then I would pass the scope next to Nancy. Nancy gives her spill, then she passes the scope to Christina. Christina does her spill, then she passes it to Joyce up until the last person on the spreadsheet has shared. And then all we do is curate all of those videos and we put them together in a Wakelet. And someone will probably put together a blog within the week later, and then it's out there. And people can learn from that.
That's pretty amazing.
I love that you said curate.
Yes.
I mean,
do too.
why we're all content creators, so we should be curating.
Absolutely. And you never know who comes across it. We live in our own EDU bubbles and EDU worlds, but then a lot of times there are business people that are out there that come across what we're doing and they're like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And, for some people that are in education consulting, they want to hear from you. And they want to know a little bit more about that. And that's another opportunity to expose your kids to other people. So it's endless. I think it's just a way to ignite a passion for learning in a different way.
Okay.
Yep. And that's pretty much live streaming. So if you're able to watch it live and catch it live, great. If not, it's there and it's available for you to watch on replay at your leisure and when you have time. If you can't get the whole thing in one sitting, you hit pause, you come back to it later, and then you can continue your learning and you've not missed a beat.
Great.
Yep. So what other questions might you guys have for me at this time? And then we can certainly stay connected on the back channel. And I can, continue to walk you guys through the rest of this, the rest of the summer as you prepare for your school year.
I guess I had a question for you, dear. You were saying about when they're live streaming and then someone will end up blogging it. What was it that you said in between those two?
Curating all of the videos from that day. So for example, if we had 20 teachers, we'd use Wakelet, and Wakelet is kind of like the tool now since Storify has gone away, and it just allows you to have everything in one place.
Okay, and it's called Wakelet?
Wakelet, yes.
Storify is gone?
Storify is gone. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, it went away.
Look at
It went away in
Wakelet.
May. Yes, I typed it in the chat.
Yep, saw it.
Yes.
Okay.
Wakelet works pretty much the same way as Storify did. So it allows you to curate everything there and kind of keep. So if you did have a Storify, if you did not extract all of those files before they went down, I believe it might have been back in May, then all of that content, unless you have it back somewhere else, is probably gone.
It's probably gone. It's okay. Because I know, remember I said my kids, we use Instagram. And I will pull things from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter. It's okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. That's pretty.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing that Wakelet. That's the part that I heard you say, but I couldn't hear you clearly. So thank you.
Yes, no problem. No problem. No problem. Katie, do you have someone else coming into this room next? Said 1 second. No problem, Nancy. I was just giving them the information.
Okay. So I'm here typing, and I'm back, and you can hear me.
No.
I lost battery, and it was very scary. First world problems, and of course the conversation was really getting good, and then I will. I don't know if you added me on Twitter, but everybody's was there, and now it's gone. And yes, I want to follow you all and be part of the and I want to do the Thursday Periscope, the live scope. So you said it's what Thursday is it?
Third Thursday of the month.
The third Thursday. What time?
Yep. So next, and what we'll do is put out a spreadsheet.
Okay.
You pick the time of the day that works the best for you to go live. So we try not to box anyone into a time period. Some people decide I want to do it during my planning period, which is at 8:15 in the morning. For me, it's when I get home in the evenings, always at 7:30, because I've got the kids down for dinner. It's kind of, a little bit less hectic for me. At school, I can't always promise that I'm going to get the best connectivity. So I just try to do it from home in the evenings. But you pick a time that works for you. And if that time needs to change because life happens, the group is very flexible. You can just change your time on the spreadsheet. Oh, I'm no longer going at 6. I'm going at 4 now because I got a flat tire and I can't get home, or whatever the case may be. So yes, every Thursday we're there. We'll support. We have a Voxer group, a back channel, where we go through tips and tricks on how to use Periscope. So I can also send that to you guys in Twitter as well. If you just even want to come in and just lurk and listen. And we can do that. So I'm going to follow you guys on Twitter. Are there any other questions before we go?
I was very late. Can everybody just tell me your name so I can put a face to it and where you're from?
Sure. I'm Valerie Lewis, and I'm in the metro Atlanta area.
Oh, I love Atlanta. Okay.
Yes. And I'm transitioning out of the classroom. So I was a special education language arts teacher for grade pretty much 9 through 12. Now I'm going into administration, and I'll be the administrator over special ed in my building.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And
I'm
Lois?
Lois. I am in Katy, Texas. I teach 6th grade science. I am also doing my doctorate of ed in education technology at Wanda University.
Oh, wow.
I am a blended learning class. I've been flipping my class for 7 years. So pretty much almost 100% paperless.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That is awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. And I think we might have lost Christina. Oh, yes. She said over and out, ladies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Katie. I'm in Central California, and I am a high school teacher librarian.
Oh, wow. I like what you do.
Where
Everything.
Where in California?
Katie is a wealth of knowledge, so you guys definitely want to be connected and following her. She is so resourceful. She's an amplifier. She is awesome. So definitely connect with her as well.
Okay. It's your Twitter, it's her Twitter hashtag up here.
Katie, did you drop your Twitter in the chat?
I did, and I went ahead and just jumped in again. Someone mentioned their computer got glitchy, so it's my name. You can find me. Once I start murdering people, maybe I'll be more sly about it.
Exactly. Okay,
Maybe I should have said that. Yeah.
And I think that's it, because I think I had a 30-minute window, and I don't want to take up anybody else who may need to get ready.
No, you're good if you have more questions. You got at least like 10 more minutes if you want to have it. You know, if you're done, that's fine too.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm available if you guys need me to, do any more questioning with you. I can do that.
Do you
even bring up? Yep, go ahead.
Do you have for the students? Where do you send them? I mean, do you use Google Classroom to send them a link? What is the most efficient way to use this with to increase student engagement?
So for live streaming through Periscope, I rarely allow the students to scope themselves. If they want to do it on their own personal account, then great. I'll usually stream it from my account.
Okay.
So if I'm at school, I'll log in to my account, and then I'll just have them do it that way. So that way, I eliminate, conversation that may happen, and then a parent comes back and say, well, it was because you told them to do this, and now this guy is stalking my daughter. So you just have to kind of almost think about the worst possible things that can happen. So anytime we're doing anything with live stream, I try to control it from my account while we're either in school or after school hours, where I can get the connection, and then we'll go from there. But a lot of people are now using Flipgrid because that is, safe. So have you used that or heard of Flipgrid?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
No. Okay, so Flipgrid is definitely one that helps to amplify voice. I've not used it as much. Katie, are you a Flipgrid ambassador? I'm pretty sure she is.
Yeah, I am a Flipgrid ambassador, and I would really encourage you to jump into some of the Flipgrid sessions we have with EdChange Global, so you can kind of play around with it on the student side as well. I promise you it is super, super simple, because that's one of my big things. It has to be really easy to use, and it has to be free, and my kids have to be able to use it. And Flipgrid, you can do all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if you need help with it, I have no problem helping you. If you want me to look at a grid or any of your flow through Flipgrid, you can always reach out to me.
Absolutely. Now, I've used the Flipgrid with teachers. I was over the Fine Arts Academy, and so it was one way. And one thing that I find is that, kids will jump on camera real quick. It's the adults, getting them to jump on video, that's a fight and a struggle. And it's almost like, well, wait a minute. This is pretty hypocritical. You tell the kids, hey, you need to be open to new things and try this and try that. And yet you're like, oh no, I'm not doing that video recording. It's only 90 seconds. But, just getting the teachers to kind of introduce themselves, maybe give responses. It was like a fight just to get teachers to do it. And then on the other hand, you'll find some that are very open. Getting on Flipgrid, kind of looks like our screen. It's just a grid of boxes and squares. And if I wanted to hit Nancy's square, there was something you said, I could respond to something you've said in a video format. And it's a really, really neat tool. You can have question prompts for your students, and then they all respond to that question in a video. They have little emojis and stickers and little filters, so it kind of almost feels Snapchat-like as well.
Oh, they
I mean,
like that.
Yeah, so it's really, really a neat tool to amplify student voice.
I
You
was
can do
able to
anything
put it on
with
my
it.
learning
I've
management.
gone from
Oh, that was Lois. I'm sorry. I was stating that I was able to add my Flipgrid to my learning management system, which is Canvas, and I had my students to introduce themselves through that grid.
That is awesome. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. And and that's a great icebreaker. And people have gotten so creative with how they're using Flipgrid. The possibilities are endless.
I don't know much about it. I just let them do it.
sometimes that works. I tell you, a colleague of mine said, hey, Powtoon is amazing. I'm like, I don't have time to figure this out, but I also really don't care to be the expert. Next day in class, we're doing it. My kids are like, I don't know. Like, well, what do you think that says? I'm clueless. I still haven't made a single Powtoon, but my kids have made hundreds of them. You don't have to know everything. That's really cool.
Exactly.
No, they'll do it.
And they enjoy teaching us and showing us things. So that's, and that's a lot of how I've learned. Just tell the kids, hey, there's this really neat tool that I've discovered. I played around with it a little bit, but there's some things I can't figure out. Why don't you guys play with it and help me figure it out? And they just love to come back and say, I got it, I figured it out. Let me show you. That's the best way to learn. And then they just go with it. So absolutely.
And that's another way you could use Flipgrid. I mean, I'm going to probably do this next year, a grid where kiddos are doing a screencast showing how to use different tools, and I'm going to give that out to my teachers.
Nice. I love that. I'm going to just pull up, because I know, Nancy, you had inquired about this. I'm going to see if I can share my screen. There's nothing to it. I believe I can fly.
We're going to talk about believing in yourself today on Edu Freedom Style.
Let's see. Trying to see is my screen showing?
Yes.
What is up, you guys? I apologize. I wasn't originally on this.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Did it stop?
Schedule.
There it is.
But if any of you follow that, I either wait till the last minute because my schedule is so busy. I got 4 kids and all that kind of stuff. And I'm also married. But it was just a busy afternoon. However, I wanted to get on, and Valerie is on my box and turn the volume down real quick. but it has been a fabulous thing on Periscope. If you have not caught all the wonderful scopes today, you should have checked it out. You know, everybody from here, we had Matthew Winters, Claudio that just went on just go. Linda Edwards really gave a passionate testimony to what Pastor Scobie has done. Hey, Linda. Linda's with me right now. And there's Margaret, Dan, and Claudia, and Amy. Dan was awesome. I need to reach that out because I was in the store trying to listen. And Margaret, of course, our champion, and Coach Jeffrey got on. Please make sure you go ahead and just follow the hashtag PastorScope. Check out the wonderful scopes from today. So I'm getting on to talk about, I guess, my edu freedom perspective. And it's all about the freedom to believe in yourself. Now, I chose that tonight mainly from Madison Russell's scope. She gave a really passionate testimonial, stepping out there. You know, actually, we had a conversation in the side box about really stepping out there. Sometimes many of us are so talented, but we keep it on the inside. So you know that I do introvert perspective about how stepping out there on faith, believing in the gifts that you've been given, and really walking in your purpose and in your calling. You know, when you are in this job as an educator, you are an influencer, whether you want to accept that or not. And then when you become connected, your influence grows even larger. And many of us don't take advantage of that gift that you've been given, mainly because either we're perfectionists or we're afraid that what other people will say or what other people think. Sometimes we're afraid of the competition that's out there because someone else is doing something that's similar to what it is that you're doing. But you have to understand that if you're called to do this, that means you are also qualified. You know, so you're never called into something that you're not already qualified for. That's something that you need to hold on to. But that power of believing in yourself, it's something that is internalized. It's something that a lot of people have to get to the point where they can actually step out there on faith.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right there. And then that's just, now Brian, obviously, with Periscope, it almost looks like television production.
Mm-hmm.
As you saw, he had like a little remote cell phone on the screen, and what he was doing was scrolling through on the Periscope app and showing you everyone that day that had broadcasted on that EDU freedom, which Nancy, you kind of gave us your interpretation, which would have fit perfectly and aligned with consistently with somewhat what everybody else mentioned. But just think about coming across that on a live stream. You might not have known Brian, but you could have seen that on Twitter, and then you popped into his live stream. Think about how many other people who don't know Brian and came across his broadcast. Now, as he goes into his scope a little bit more, he plays this really awesome and powerful video that pretty much brought us all to tears. When we talk about, you know, that purpose and finding and believing in you and knowing the power in you. So that's, you know, that's the power in just live streaming. You know, you can get things in a blog post, you can get things in an article, you know, you can, you know, connect people on Voxer, which I absolutely love, but power in being able to see someone's face and hear their voice and that human emotion that you can't get through just reading. I think that's the power in live streaming. And then just to know worldwide, you can connect to people. Hey, Michael, I noticed you popped in there for a minute. Good to see you. So, Nancy, I know you've got a lot on your plate this upcoming school year with the podcast and trying to connect. And I I definitely am following you now on Twitter as well. So we're going to connect a little bit more so we can help you. There's an educators podcasting group on Voxer. Oh, and those guys are like awesome. So if you're looking for ideas on podcasting as well, that would be a great community to just get in and lurk with as well.
Can I just jump in? Can I follow Nancy? What's the Twitter handle? Because I joined in late.
Oh, sure. It's at Nancella.
Nancy.
Oh, it's at Nancella, my nickname.
Nancella. How do I spell that? Sorry.
Nancella.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Awesome. All right. Following now. Thanks.
Awesome. And Michael, I guess before we head out, because I know there's probably another group getting ready to warm up and get in.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything about live streaming that you could share with Nancy? And I know Lois was here. We had a few others that came in and had to leave, but how have you seen live stream used? How have you used it? What's the power in it? What do you?
Yeah, I mean, I know in the beginning I was very nervous to. I guess you have to be vulnerable. You're opening yourself up to the world. You never know who might tune in. But I mean, I've done it through Periscope. You one time went into a class that was doing a mystery Skype, and there were people on there that had never seen a mystery Skype before. So that was really neat. I went live stream at a fundraiser for cancer that we were doing at our school, which was neat to show the community piece. I like to, I'm perfectly cool with just lurking and viewing and watching them and commenting on them. But I think the more you actually open up and share, the easier it becomes over time. But, you know, I've done some of the EduMatch things and the Google Hangouts. I think it's almost contagious because it's the connecting with other people through, you know, the face-to-face, even though it's virtual, you know, that live streaming piece is really neat. So, and I got to get into that Voxer group on the podcast thing too, that you just had mentioned, because I've been slacking on Voxer, but I do have a podcast that I got going, and I'd love to hear from people that are.
Oh yeah, it's a powerful group with everyone from like Chris Nessie. I mean, these guys talk about equipment and the simplest way to get started with podcasting. They even talk about how to start podcasts in a classroom with students, and just even you individually starting your own podcast. And they are a wealth of knowledge. I mean, it's almost overwhelming, but they'll answer any and everything you share.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you. I just been following all, you know, everything going on Twitter. Yeah.
I know it's crazy. It becomes like information overload. Once you know.
Hi everybody. How you doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
All right. We'll be starting in about 3 minutes. Katie, are you hosting tonight?
I'm not hosting. I was in here with Valerie session, but someone else will pop in here for you.
Okay, great.
Yep. And we're getting ready to exit and close this session out. But definitely, Nancy, let's keep in touch. Michael's following you. I'm following you. So feel free to ask. This is a large and wonderful community of educators willing to help out. So don't feel like you're bothering anyone. Ask away.
Thank you so much. This is great.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we'll connect on the back end, and I'll walk you.
I got here in the nick of time. Thank you.
No problem, and we'll get you ready to stream and scope, and then you can do it with your students.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is exciting. I mean, eliminating paper from the classroom. Like, I can't believe that. She said, where is she? She said that she's gone?
Lois, she's in Texas.
Okay. No paper in the classroom? Wow.
I know. She's nearly just totally digital. It's possible.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you so much.
No problem. And so good to meet you, and we'll continue to connect. All right. Have a good night. Yes. Thank you, Katie.
Valerie, for sharing all of your wisdom. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me the time to do it.
Thank you.
All right. Happy learning, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot. God bless you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's over now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
because you're an administrator. Sorry.
I know.
It's a trade-off.
I know. Well, you enjoy yours. You go back, what, Labor Day, September?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you got some time. Enjoy and rest and relax.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Valerie.
Bye. Thank you.